Hello gamers, this is Pet from gamerpet.com and welcome to my Crusader Kings 2 review, first look and tutorial. The reason why it's all three into one video, well, if I would have made a review I would be like, hey, 9 out of 10, this game is great, get it. But that would not mean anything to you. It doesn't mean it's a good game, especially with this type of game, which is a grand strategy game made by Paradox Development Studios. And there's the thing with their game. They have like these specific strategy games, and it's kind of hard to get into them. But once you get into them, it's a really fun experience. And I haven't found anything like this in any other game. Not even in Civilization 5. That's a different type of game than what Crusader Kings 2 is. It's a first look because it is what I do when I'm doing when I want to make a video about a game, but it's not a review. I usually do a first look. I usually play the game for 2-3 hours. I have actually 30 hours in Crusader Kings 2, and then I start to talk about the game with limited editing and planned stuff. I just go into the game, and it's a tutorial because I've been watching a lot of tutorials from other YouTubers, and for example, I found one guy that has like 2 videos, and each video has like it's 1 hour long. In the first video, he just go over each piece of information, and I found that it's not really a good experience to teach someone this game. So I'm going to teach you how I've learned the game, and I'm trying to explain the most important things you need to know. I'm not an expert at this game, but because of that I still remember on how I've learned the game, at least the beginnings. And it's a huge step in this type of game. It's like you don't know anything, and then you really learn some basic, and then boof, which really allows you to go and explore this game, because it is a really unique game. So let's see what Crusader Kings 2 is really about. So this is the start menu of Crusader Kings 2. Now if you purchase the game already, I really recommend for you to do the tutorial. You have basic, intermediate and advanced set. You won't understand too much, but it will teach you a bit on how to use the the interface, and some of the stuff that you don't actually understand, they will click in with you later. For example, they explain the anti-pope. There's no point for me to explain you what the anti-pope is, because in my personal experience I never needed it. Now, what Crusader Kings is exactly? Basically, it's a grand strategy game, as I've said, and the game, I'm still trying to, it's huge, and the game will basically allow you to play with almost anyone you see here. And now you will see this is a terrain map. It doesn't mean too much, but check this out. Independent realms. The year is 867, and this is because I'm using a DLC. But normally, if you just buy the standard game, you will start in 1066, and this is how the map looks. But basically, you will be able to start whenever you want, from 1066 until 10 I believe this is the date, 1337. This is when the game ends, I think. Even that, I think I remember it ends a bit later, I'm not sure. Anyway, the game allows you, as I've said, for you to play with anyone you see here. These are the independent realms. So if I click England, I will be able to play with King Harold II of England. Right? If I click here, I will be able to play with Scotland. Here with Holy Roman Empire. And check this out. Look how big the map is. You will be able to play with the Muslim, the Arab states, and they have different rules because they have a different religion. France has different rules because they are Catholic. If you play with Russia, for example, they are Orthodox. They have some different rules that involve that religion. And what's super important about this game is that they're using the feudal system. It's important who who to marry, and it's important to have a dynasty. It's important to see your titles, your lands, and stuff like that, and I will explain those a bit later. The thing is that, get this, right? I clicked, you can see England, you can see France. The game actually allows you to play as a count, or even as a duke. Get this? Let me explain this a bit. If I select York, this is Duke Morcar I of York. You will play as him, but you will have King Harold II of England as your liege. That means he's like a boss. You don't control the whole England, you only control this territory, right? As a count, you can play as a guy that only controls this territory, which really makes the game super interesting. You'll be like, why would I want to do this? Get this, I will actually show you another. I actually suggest for you to maybe after you do the first tutorial that I'm going to show you now. On the second tutorial, I will suggest you, for example, for you to play with this guy. This guy only has these two counties, or however, I'm having a lapsus, I don't remember exactly how they are called. The thing is that the whole area is controlled by his half-brother, which controls the Wessex area. The whole thing is the half-brother, your half-brother. You only control these two areas, right? The thing is that since your half-brother does not have an heir or a wife when the game starts, if he dies, you will get to command the whole thing. You will inherit the whole area of Wessex. And then if you start the war a bit, you can actually make the Kingdom of England. As you can see, the year is 867. There is no England here. It's only Jorvik, which are the Nordic, the Norse people, the Mercia, Anyway, Scotland is still there, and you will have to deal with the Nords attack on your area, and you will see exactly what I mean about the beauty of this game. So, in this tutorial that I'm going to show you, we are basically just going to start and get into a game, and it's pretty easy. Well, this is how I actually started to learn the game. If you start, for example, with, I don't know, an area over here, you maybe are going to get under attack pretty fast, and you won't actually pick some of the most important stuff of the game. So this is why we are actually going to play with this guy, King Murchad I of Munster. He controls these two areas. So let's just start. I'm selecting one of these two areas, and I'm just going to click play. Okay, so the game has just started, and the game is paused. You can issue commands while the game is paused, and then you can unpause, and there are 5 steps of speed. Now, as I've said, the first tutorial I saw, it was from a guy who actually spent 1 hour explaining each button, each thingy over here, and I'm not going to do this. However, the first thing you have to understand, this is not Civilization, this is not a game about war. This is a game about your dynasty. When this guy, you are playing basically with this guy, right? When this guy will die, you will play with Brian, who's your heir. I might accidentally say hair because of an old joke. I was intentionally saying the word hair, like hair, and I'm still having that old habit. So heir, this is the guy it's your son, and he will get your titles, the 2 regions. It will be of your son, right? You can marry your son, and he will have kids who are going to inherit the land and stuff like that, right? So if you are to see the dynasty tree, this is basically your dynasty. This is what matters. When there is no member in your dynasty, the game will be over, right? So it's super important to continue your dynasty. It's super important to see that your Your family members are happy, your vassals are happy, and I will explain more about the vassals in a second. So as you can see, Brian is here, he's 18 years old, he's not married. This is my half brother, who opinion of me is -15. You will see a lot of numbers here. So another thing you will see in this screen, with the King Murchad, which is me, are my skills. Diplomacy, martial, stewardship, intrigue, and learning. One thing, which is maybe the most important thing of this game, is that everything, every menu, every icon has a tooltip. This is why I'm not going to bother explaining everything in detail to you. I'm trying to make this video as short as possible. I said diplomacy. You don't know what diplomacy is, just hover the state and it will explain to you what diplomacy skill is. Same thing with martial, same thing with stewardship, and so on, right? Same thing with these icons. This is the wealth, this is your money. This is the prestige. It's exactly what it says. It's a pretty important. Prestige affects different things in the game. You can see some of the stuff there, like vassal baronies, vassal counties, technology, the impression of people for you. If you have huge prestige, people are saying, oh yeah, you are a great dude. Of course I'm going to help you do that. Piety. It has to do with church. This is the demers size. It's basically... Let me explain you this. As I've said, you're basically a king. We have these two provinces, right? This is my province because I clicked on it and you see my face. This is not my province. It's this dude's province. But this dude is my vassal. He answers to me, right? If I say, dude, give me army, he will give me army depending on how happy he is, right? Keep this in mind. This is a game about managing your dynasty, making your vassals happy because they will help you with taxes, with levy size, which is the army size, and if they are not happy, they might actually revolt, right? And they will dethrone you, stuff like that. So it's 1-3. That means I have one region. If I have more than 3, people are going to get mad at you. My vassals are going to get mad at me because they say, hey, your demers is too big. I hope I pronounce it. Demands. Your demands is too big. So you can actually give your land away. You will give it to a guy and you will say, hey, manage this land. It's your land now, but you are still my vassal, right? This is how it works. This is the realm size, which is 6, and it basically counts this. For example, I'm selecting a region, right? We have a castle there, which is managed by me. We have a town, and we also have a church. Same thing here. So 3 with 3, 6 in total. They also have their own vassals, right? Keep this in mind. So, and this is the score, and this is how it will go with this game. When your ruler dies, his piety, his prestige and his piety is going to be summed up together, and it's going to go into the score. And when the game will end, it will show you a score, right? Okay, now, since this is a tutorial, let's go with the basics. Again, these are still some basics, but there are more basics. Just be calm. It's not really that hard. And once you get this small and lot of things, you will understand it, and it will be an awesome experience. Another thing that I have to add is that you don't require any DLC to play what I'm doing right now. I'm using a mod that it's making this map to look a bit prettier with the borders and this green stuff. And I'm also using the some portraits DLCs. Again, it's not a big deal. Don't panic if it's not like this for you. This is the map. It doesn't matter that much. What it matters are these buttons, which I'm not going to go over each one of them. Again, this is the terrain, which is pretty, but it's not really useful. What's more useful is the independent realm. And then you have other stuff like religion, dynasties, revolt risk, and so on. You will just hover the cursor over each one and it will explain it in detail. Now you see these three icons. These are basically some really important notifications that you need to address or keep in mind. The news are usually coming here: high priority messages and low priority messages. Ruler unmarried, unmarried heir, and pick an ambition. So, in order to pick an ambition, you go to the character screen and you have this: choose an ambition. And you have different ambitions to choose from. Not going to go into detail, but I'm going to pick the ambition to get married. If he does that, he will basically gain some prestige, I believe. I forgot to watch the tooltip what it says. And we're going to pick this because we are going to get married anyway. We won't do this for my son because, again, we are not controlling our son. Our son can actually, as you can see, opinion of me minus 30. And let's actually pick a wife for us. We already have an heir. We already... It's not really important, but it's a good idea to marry, so we will get more kids, and basically we will get more people into our dynasty. The people who are in our dynasty have this blood icon, right? This is my grandfather who died of natural death in that date. Same thing here, same thing here. These are my siblings. This is my half brother. This is another half brother. And you can see if the opinion of me, their opinion of me, my opinion on them, and religious head, which doesn't matter that much right now. So let's get married. You can filter by rank. Basically, if you just marry a courtier, you are going to take some prestige hit, but I will explain more in detail. So let me see. I'm ordering by rank. So this is Princess of Denmark. So she's a princess. Her father is probably the king. She's from Estrid dynasty and she's Danish. These are her skills that you saw here, and these are different I forgot the name, I forgot how these are called. Traits, yeah, traits. So as you can see, my character is envious. He has +2 intrigue, -1 diplomacy. Slothful, minus. Slothful is not a good idea. And he's also a thought soldier. This is like an important skill. Everyone has an important skill. And as you can see, this guy, this lady is a flamboyant schemer. She's intrigue is +3. It's already there. And usually you get these things when the kid will be 16 years old. I will explain more about kids later. One thing that you need to keep in mind is the points. You see this icon has 2 points below, 1, 2. That means it's level 2. And for example, let me show you an example here. This is Thrifty Clerk. Stewardship +3. It has 1, 2. It's level 2. This skill, because it's with yellow, it's level 3. As you can see, it has 6 stewardship and more points in other stuff. This is level 4. It's the maximum for a brilliant strategist. It has martial +9, right? Learning -1. Not that it matters. Look, this is a good thing for people with the learning skill. One thing that you need to keep in mind when you marry someone is that the skills from your wife, I believe you will gain about half of them, something like that. You will see them in the state diplomacy and state skills. I'm not 100% sure. So who should we marry? We have 10. If we filter by martial, okay. Let's marry her. The Princess of Hungary. She's a brilliant strategist, which doesn't matter too much. It only matters when we actually put the princess to educate one of our young guys. When the young guys, you know, the young persons, the kids, will reach age of 16, they will gain the most left trait of the character that taught them in that age of 16, when they reach 16. I will explain more about the kids later. So I'm selecting her. As you can see, propose that King Mozart won and blah blah blah. I will gain 25 prestige from marrying into House Arpad and 100 from marrying the relative to the king. Yes. Don't click this one. Matrilineal means that, of course, you can see it in the tooltip, but if you click this, that means that the kids coming from these two guys will be part of the female and not me or the male. Just keep that in mind. It's a good idea to get someone a matrilineal marriage when you have someone in your dynasty, a woman, and you want the man to come to your court and the kids to be still part of your dynasty. We are going to send the request. And let's marry our son or heir. And we will marry him with Princess of Denmark. Because why not? Same deal. Okay, we've done this. Now let's... oh my god, I did so much. I actually wanted to do this video in something like 30 minutes. But it's so much to talk about. I might actually do it in 2 parts. Not sure. Council. This is your council. This is their skill. If we check this guy, we see that his skill in diplomacy is 20, which is fairly high, which is actually fairly high. He's also from my dynasty and so on. I'm going to go over that again. And each of these guys have 3 different type of missions. You can go over each one of them by your own. I'm only going to go briefly over them. Let's see if we can appoint a better steward, since this one is only a skill of 10. Selecting, filtering by stewardship, it's 8, the other one. So we don't have good stewards. Same thing with marshals. We have 2 that are kind of the same. I'm not going to change it because if I appoint someone else, this guy is going to get a bit mad on me because I just changed him. Spymaster, same thing. We don't have a good spymaster. Same thing with chaplain. Okay, so as I was saying, this game is about keeping your vassals happy. From your screen, you have the family tab where you can see your family. You have your vassals tab, court tab, which all the people who are at your court. This can be people related to you or people who are just in your court, your castle, whatever. Your allies and people who are abroad. Vassals, this is the core of this game, right? So let me explain how this goes, right? Selecting this again, we are controlling the state capital, the castle. This is selected by, the city of Limerick is controlled by a dude, by a vassal. Bishop is controlled by a vassal, and the third vassal that we have is actually this guy, right? This bishop, this cathedral or whatever, monastery, and this town, they are also controlled by some vassals, but those are not our vassals. Those vassals are from this guy. Okay, so we have 3 vassals. The bishop from our region, basically this dude, just click the banner, you will see the dude. We can select the dude. He's 72 with us. Why? He's 72 positive with us. State diplomacy, short range -10, which will go away. Gravelkind succession, technology, light, liege is brave, content, and so on, right? This dude is also happy. He's giving us money. This guy is giving us tax. This guy is not really giving us tax because noble vassal tax is set to 0%. What's more important is that this guy opinion is -7. That means that when we are going to rise our armies, he will not give us the most armies that we can get. And I will explain this in a second. One thing that I have to add is that bishops function a bit different, right? This is the opinion for this bishop of the Pope, which is Alexander II. So this bishop opinion of the Pope is 57. This bishop opinion of me is 72. Because his opinion is more on my side, I'm actually getting coins from the vassals as a tax. If his opinion will be more on Alexander, on the Pope, and less on me, the tax will actually go to the Pope. This is something that you need to keep in mind. You can rise the... and it is out to do. Let's presume that this bishop hates me and he's giving all the money to the Pope. You can do this. Council, and the chaplain has 3 abilities. One of those is the last one. It's called Improve Religious Relationship. And I can just select it. I know that the bishop who's a bit... No, we presume that he's upset with us. It's on this side. So I'm just going to click him here. So our chaplain is on this area trying to improve the relationship with every bishop in this area, which is only one, right? With this dude, we know that, again, you click the banner and it automatically selects that region. We know that this dude, it's here. We want to improve the relationship with him. We can do this thingy. Right click on his portrait and go to diplomacy. This works on every portrait, here, here, and even on the find characters tab, right? Right click, go to the diplomacy. And you can do this on every character again. We have different types. We can revoke his title. He won't be pleased if we do this. Again, numbers. You can watch the numbers and take a decision by that. We can award an honorary title, which will improve his opinion of us. We can send a gift of 42 coins, which we won't do right now because it's kind of expensive, and his opinion will go by 26 up. We can imprison him, arrange a marriage, educate a child, and transfer passion, and so on, right? So in order to, one thing to, okay, as I've said, we can send a gift to someone to make them happy. And there are other different stuff. For example, if I ask this guy to educate one of my children, he will be happy that, hey, the king actually said that he wants me to educate his children, and I'm going to be a bit happy. But one thing that to make this guy happy is to send this first dude, the chancellor, to improve diplomatic relationships. Click here. And this dude will start to convince everyone, actually, everyone on this area, including these guys. Opinion of me -5. Opinion of me -15. It doesn't matter that much, but again, he will improve the relationship with everyone. We are also going to put our marshal to train troops. You can suppress revolts, which we don't need because there is no revolt risk, or research military tech. Let's actually train troops. You can only do this on the counties you actually own. He will basically get a more percentage to the levy size. I will explain what the levy is in a second. The steward, which he kind of sucks. Collect taxes, overseas construction, and research economy tech. I want to collect taxes because I do plan to start a war. Spy master. Scheme to plot, uncover, build a spy network, and study technology. Let's actually start to study technology, and you want to start to send him in some of these popular areas. Just select a region and you will see this. This is the how to put it, the advancement of this region. 10 in military, 10 in economic, 10 in culture, 11 in culture. So let's just put him, you see this one is 10, 12, 12. Then actually this area is much better, huh? Nassau 8, 11, 11. So let's just put our spy master there. And this is something that you always need to do. Just check this icon and see that your council is always doing missions, right? And how to put this? I'm still trying to think on how to do this video shorter, but it seems that it's kind of impossible. And it seems that I will still go over each of the buttons, but I will go brief. Laws. I won't go over this one. One thing that you need to keep in mind, and which is kind of important, is the succession type, which is Gravelkin. That means that when I die, all of my sons are going to inherit a title, which will basically break your, country. If I will have all the iron and I die, one of the son will take maybe this region, one of the son this region, one of the son this region. The guy I control maybe this region, and so on, which can create problems. One thing that I go is Progenitor Succession, which means that the oldest will inherit all the titles. Keep that in mind. And again, just hover the cursor and you will be able to see exactly how to do this. And these are also different laws that you can adopt. which I'm not going to change depending on the things you need. Maybe feudal levies, if you are really in a war, you set it to max. Vassals will hate you a bit for it, but it will be sure that you are going to get all the army. Technology, you are not going to spend too much time on here because it's really going to go slow, as you can see. 0.44. I think that's every year, or no, I think it's actually every month. And whenever this goes up, there are different types of things you can put points in. Just click the arrow and you will basically get that square completed. Military, this is an important tab. Why? Because from the Mercs, this is my own army. If I raise the army, I will be able to get 678. From a maximum of 859. Why not maximum? Is because the levies are actually regenerating in a way, right? If you start a war and you lose men, you will not be able to constantly get all your army. You will need to wait a bit. And from the vassals, I can get 244. Why? Because you can see them here. How much I get. From this guy, I only get 95%. Why? Because he's a bit unhappy with me. When this will go up, he will give me more army. And another super important thing is actually the mercenaries. You are going to... The mercenaries can actually win wars. Because with this money I can get 1,500 men. The problem is that you always need to watch the cost per month. And we can't actually afford this, but keep this in mind. You will see when we are going to use it. Intrigue. Here is where you can start plots to basically revoke the County of Warmore or kill someone or do stuff, different stuff. Just click them. Whenever you select someone, you will be able to call different. This is the plot power, how powerful the plot is, and you will be able to call different people. This guy is willing to join the plot and will basically get the plot power by plus 25%. This guy is not willing to join the plot. Why? Just hover the cursor over this and you will see the plus and minuses. I'm going to cancel this, and with this I'm going to go in a second. Factions. Whenever someone is mad at you, you will be able to start to... They will start a faction, like for example if you are the King of Ireland, and they will start a faction, and if they are unhappy with you, like some dude wants independence, he will start a faction and so on. Or you will be able to start a faction, you will see it. And this is the religion where you can see the Pope and other stuff. I'm not going to go with the anti-Pope and stuff like that, I have never used them. So this is it. This is the basic of the interface basically. And we can actually start to play the game, finally. And you will be right now like, okay, now what? It is the problem with this type of games. They don't give you a purpose. You make your own purpose. And my purpose in this game is to unify Ireland. And maybe it's going to be hard, unify the whole Britain. Conquer Scotland, conquer England and so on. Which is going to be super hard. But the first step is to unify Ireland. And you will be... How do you do this? If you click Petty Kingdom of Monster or the banner, and if you click de jure, you will see two other banners here. Kingdom of Ireland and Empire of Britannia. Just click the Kingdom of Ireland. And you can see that this is the Kingdom of Ireland. And in order to create this title, it will cost you some piety, it will cost you some gold, and you need to control 51% of the counties here. Okay, so the first step is to actually conquer some of these counties. And you will be like, okay, how do I declare war? Well, let's get this county. It's big, it looks big. Let's conquer it. So we go to this guy, we right click, we go to diplomacy, and we click declare war. But why? Wait a minute, why is declare war great? It says that the requirements, it says on the X, it says the King Mustard, which is me, must have a valid casus belli to declare war. What is casus belli? Oh my god. Well, get this, guys. Casus belli is a reason for you to declare war. You can't declare war just because you feel like it. You need to have a reason. For example, if you are playing like the Spanish dudes, you can create war, you can declare war on the Muslims because the church will allow it. It will be like a holy war, right? But in our situation here, we don't have a reason to attack the county of Connacht. However, let me show you this, how it is. We control these two areas, right? County of Ormond, county of Thomond. And if we click de jure, we see that the jure claim is also on this area. And what this means, what is de jure means, of course it will explain you it into the checkbox, but think of it historically. Historically, the county of Munster, right, the petty kingdom of Munster, supposed to contain this region, which is not in my control. This guy is independent right now. So, I have a reason to declare a war to this guy, because I can say, hey dude, this region is supposed to belong to the county of, to the petty kingdom of Munster. It's my claim. So, right click on this dude, diplomacy, declare war. De jure claim on Desmond. The county of Desmond is de jure a vassal of King blah blah, which is enough, which cause is enough to call for war, which is something that we are not going to do right now. I just explained that to you. So you will be like, okay, we can attack this area and we can conquer it, but how do we conquer other stuff, right? Well, simple. Yes and no. One thing is that you can send your chancellor to fabricate claims on an area, on a zone. I can't do it now because if you remember, we set him to do something else to improve relationship with Ormond, and we won't be able to assign a new job until that date. So you can actually send your chancellor to fabricate claim, and basically they will just make some paper changes, diplomacy, and they will say, hey dude, according to the to the papers, I have a claim on this county, and you will be able to conquer it, right? So I think I'm going to end this video right now. As I've said, I wanted to actually make it a bit closer, shorter, sorry, but the game is a bit complex. But please join me in my next video where we are actually going to start playing this game, and trust me, it will make sense to you, and you will be able to pick up this game and play it. If you want to buy this game right now, I'm putting a link in the description below where you will basically be able to buy the game. I'm buying the games from there because they have prices in dollars and not in euros, and they are also using they also have these discount coupons, which is kind of nice because the price is going to go even lower. Again, you don't need to buy every DLC there is there because there are a lot. Only buy the basic game. If you like the basic game, you can go to the other DLCs that basically it will allow you to play with the Norse, it will allow you to play with the Muslim counties, with some different republics. I will go with the DLCs at the end of the second video. So thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Goodbye.